How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you ready to do some coding?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Can't hear you.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So today we're going to pick up where we left off last time. It's going to be a quick one, right? We're going to talk about containers, all right? I know you like to organize things, right? You like to keep your things neat. So let's open up Python. Just remember, when you type in Python, you go into what's called the interactive mode, which means every time you type in a line, it gives you back the result from that line, right? So you can say x equals 5, and it just stores the value 5 in the variable x, right? Right, so that gives you the back of value 9. If you wanted to save that value, what do you do?
I don't remember.
So you do what I did, right? X equals 4 plus 5, right? And now whenever I type x, it remembers that the value is 9, right? Why don't you try it out? There you go, right? So it tells you that's the value of x, okay? Now, what if you're trying to keep track of, say, your weight every day of the week, right? You weigh yourself and you want to know how much you weigh every day, right? So your weight really is a numerical value, right? So it's like maybe, I don't know, how much do you weigh?
115 pounds.
115 pounds, right?
Yes.
So maybe today you weigh 115, right? Maybe tomorrow you weigh 115.2, then maybe 115, maybe 114 one day.
Oh, you don't put pounds.
Right? No, you don't count. You just know the round numbers. So let's say you want to store all of this in one place, right? So that's just evaluating. It's not really doing much there. So let's say you want to store all this in one place. So this is where lists come in, okay? It's basically a variable. It stores data, but it does it so that it can take multiple things in one. So for example, I can say my weights equals, right, just like we did x equals 5, we're going to give it a different value now. This value is going to be a list. So Python knows it's a list when you put 2 square brackets, right? And then you can just put any number of things in that list.
No capitals, right?
No capitals.
Ever?
There's one exception that we'll talk about later on. Right? Oh, okay. So that's saying, okay, that's an empty list, right? And let's put some stuff in there. So maybe on Monday you weighed 114, Tuesday 115, then 114.2, and so on, right? Maybe 155 one day.
No.
No? Okay, fine. 150. Let's go 116 just so that it's a little different sometimes, right? So the way you work with lists is you can put anything, right, inside them as long as it's separated by a comma, right? Okay, very nice. So now you just hit enter, and then Python remembers all of those values in one shot, right? So if you want to get back that list, if you just type the name. So now all those values you wanted are stored in that list right off the bat, right? So now let's say, well, how much did I weigh on the second day of the week, right? So you go into your list, my weights, and you put square brackets like this, and inside you put an index in the list, right? So an index being a position, right? So
wait, what are we doing now?
We're gonna. I want to know what your weight was the second day of the week.
Okay.
So we're not changing the list, right? We're not doing equals. Right? Equals means you want to assign a value to something. We just want to look it up. We just want to know what that value was, right? So if I say my weights and I put square bracket 0, it means get me the first element in the list, right? The 0 means the first position, then 1, then 2, then 3, right?
Oh, I see.
So if I hit enter there, it's going to spit back whatever was at the first position in the list, right? If I hit a 1, if I put a 1 instead, it's going to get me back the second thing.
Mine didn't put anything.
Ah, so what you did is that you put an equal signs there. That means you basically overwrote your list. If you try printing it again, try printing it, yeah? No, just put my weights and hit enter.
Oh.
See what happens? You overwrote your list. Why? Because you said my weights equals a list with only the number 0 inside of it. So you erased what you had before. So now you have to reset it. Yeah. There you go. So now if you print it out again, type in the name of the list. Not curly brackets, square brackets.
I know, it's just...
Okay, whatever. I'm very sensitive about brackets. Nice, you got the first number in the list. Nice, so you got the hang of it?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you try to ask for the 50th element in the list? Try. Uh-oh. Why is that?
Because it doesn't exist.
That's right. Very good. So you got to keep your numbers inside the range of the list, right? Okay, so that's a super useful thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lists. Now you can sort the lists, right? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
You can say sorted, and you put my weights. So sorted is a function, right? It takes as input a list, and it gives you back that same list in order. So round brackets doesn't now means you're calling a function, right? And we'll talk more about functions. Hit enter there. Right, so now they took your list and it ordered it. Right? Okay. So now I'll show you some more cool things, right? So we have my weights, and I want you to give me the last 3 elements in the list.
I don't know what you mean.
So I want you to make it spit out the numbers 112, 115, and 114. You don't have to know how to do that, but I'm going to tell you how you do it in one shot. Okay? So basically, you can give individual numbers, and it'll give you back the position, right? Or you can give
112 isn't one of the numbers.
In mine it is.
Well, that's a bit confusing.
Well, whatever.
You want the last 3?
Sorry, I want the middle 2 numbers, okay? Let's try indexing these middle 2 numbers, right? So when you're thinking about Excel, this is like selection in Excel, right? So if I want these middle 2 numbers, you can basically give the square brackets a range of indices, right? So I can say between 1 and 3, give me back those numbers, okay? 1 minus 2, that's going to give you... Okay, so you did something interesting, right? You did my weights at 1 minus 2, so that gives you minus 1. And that's fine because you can give it a negative index. It gives you back, it should give you back the last number. That's fine. Okay, so watch this.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to try and guess.
You're close though, you're very close. It just, instead of minus, put a colon, 2 dots.
Oh,
Yeah.
like in Excel.
Is it how you do it in Excel?
Yeah, if you want to go from one column, so like say you're selecting from this column to this column
Yeah, it's
that
exactly
you're
it.
linking to,
Yeah.
then you put A 2 dots C.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it, right? So this gave you the one between the position 1 and 2, right? So that's 114. Should be 114. Why'd you get 115?
Because I had put them in order.
No. Oh yeah, I'm looking
no,
at the
wait.
sorted list. Yeah.
Uh,
The sorted list is not the same one as you had. It spits out a new list, so just print your original list. Just backspace.
that
No,
was the original.
that's fine. You don't have to touch it. It stayed like that. Yeah. So it should give you 115. Yeah. So this is 0. This is 1. This is 2. So it gives you between 1 and 2. So it gives you 115. You can also tell it to go from a certain position all the way till the end. If you get rid of that last number, it gives you from a position all the way till the end. So now close your brackets. Okay, that's going to be an error, right? You don't have a 114th number in there. We're not talking about the numbers in there. We're talking about the positions, right?
Yes. Let's see.
Weird. No, 2 dots. From 1 to 4. Nice. And if you can also tell it to go all the way to the end if you don't put a second number.
Oh.
So like starting at the second position, go all the way to the end. Right? You can do that. Well, it's kind of useless to put 0, right? Because that just gives you the whole list. We'll put like 2.
I mean, all of this is really useless, right?
Right now, yes. See, so now you got the last 2
What
elements.
does it matter?
You got the last 2 elements, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we got lists, right? How are you feeling? You ready for one more thing? Are you done?
Okay, one more thing.
All right, I'm going to do something really quickly.
Okay.
So it's called a dictionary. All right? This is what a dictionary looks like. So let's say you wanted to label this list in a more useful way. Okay? Because imagine like this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? But you have to remember, if I wanted like on Tuesday, you have to remember that Tuesday corresponds to 1, right? To position 1. What if I just wanted to say, give me the day on Tuesday, give me the weight on Tuesday? So I can store my weights this way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So check out, this looks very different from a list though, right? Look at what I'm writing here. So it's curly brackets this time because it's a dictionary. It's not a list anymore. It's a very different thing. Okay. So curly brackets tells Python this is a dictionary. Now, it looks like a list because you have elements separated by commas, but inside of each comma, you have 2 things. You have on the left-hand side, we call it a key, and then 2 dots, and on the right-hand side, it's a value. Okay? So when I use my dictionary, now remember, the keys have to be actual things, right? So right now, Python's not going to understand this, but it's going to think this is a variable because you didn't put quotation marks, right? Whenever there's no quotation marks, it thinks that it's some value that you stored somewhere. Remember that?
We stop. Where does it go?
Hit up. You erased it. It's gone. Actually, can you get out of there? Just Control V. Type IPython. Shh. You don't have it installed. Okay, whatever. Get back in there. Do Python. Oh my god, you killed your terminal. It's over. You can't do anything anymore.
What do you mean?
It's done.
What do you mean?
It's
That's
over.
impossible.
You have to open a new one.
Expired session? I didn't know know if it could expire.
You killed it.
That's weird. I didn't know that was possible.
Okay, we're back. So, just pay attention to how I make the dictionary, okay?
Okay. Wait, I'm just gonna try and do it myself first.
Yeah, but you don't even know how it's done. You're trying to guess?
You just told me.
Sure, so, but remember, right?
So many details to add.
Yeah. On December 22nd, yeah?
Yes, because who would just say Monday?
You're right, it's gotta be more specific. 2 dots?
No, I was gonna figure it out.
Alright.
No, go up because it's getting closer to Christmas.
You don't think it should be going down before Christmas and then after Christmas it goes up? Because it's like you're doing that like pre-Christmas diet.
No. It starts a little bit before Christmas because you start like...
You start warming up.
Yes.
You start having a few gingerbread cookies here and there.
Yes.
Okay, so now it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. It's going up like crazy. You're hitting 120 easy on this one. Wow. All right.
Is that enough?
That's good. Yeah. So now if I ask you, how much did you weigh on December 23rd? How would you get that? So I haven't shown you how to do that. But it's the same as for the list, except instead of putting a position, right? Instead of putting 0, 1, 2, 3, you put the key, which is whatever you put before the semicolon on the, before the colon on the entry that you want to look at. Now remember, okay, well that's going to give you an error.
Do I still have to put this?
Of course, yeah.
Are the brackets okay?
The brackets are good, yeah. I'm upset that you don't understand why you have to do it with the quotes. We're going to have to cover that. We're going to have to cover that really quick right now. Because otherwise we can't move on from here.
Yeah?
Yeah. Boom. So it's just a more convenient way of storing things, right?
Yeah.
Because you can get it by like a more intuitive value.
To type it all out, though.
Yeah, so we're going to come up with ways for it to be more convenient. Now, really quick, I want to give you the difference between this and this. Okay? Remember I typed in Monday? I typed in Monday, same thing. One with quotes, one without quotes. Okay? Whenever you type in a word in Python, it thinks that it's a command or a variable. Right? Remember variable?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Variable means it's a name that Python remembers that has a value, right? It can only do that.
It's like an outfit for something else.
That's right, exactly. But if you've never told Python like Monday equals hello,
It's gonna get an error.
It's gonna say, well, what's, you know, if I just type Tuesday, it's not gonna know what it is, right? But if I type like this, Tuesday with a quotation mark, it means it's just a string. It's some text that it needs to remember, right? That way, that's why you need to put it in to the dictionary as a string, not a variable, because you never actually gave that variable a value.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're good?
Yes.
All done.
Yay! We did it.